Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar. I welcome all of you to this second video on the topic N-Queen problem. Now, in the first video, we saw what the problem is placing N queens on N by N chessboard. For example, placing 4 queens on a 4 by 4 chessboard in non-attacking positions. And we saw how to find out the solution by using a technique called backtracking. Technique was that if any queen, let's say third queen, cannot be placed anywhere in the third row, then we simply backtrack to the previous queen, that is second queen, and adjust the solution of the second queen. After adjusting the solution of the second queen, we now again try to place the third queen. And finally, we arrived at a solution in the previous video, and we got the solution finally as 2413. We printed the solution in one line, recall. We did not print any chessboard. I mean, when we will write our program of n-queen problem, we need not print the matrix on the screen, but we will simply print 2413, which means how the queens are placed. So these 2, 4, 1, and 3 are the column numbers of the queens, but row number of first queen is row 1, or row number of the second queen is row 2. That means in general, row number of the kth queen is k. Okay, now we will come to the solution of this. How do you write backtracking algorithm? Well, actually, n-queen problem, write the algorithm for n-queen problem using backtracking, we are going to write two different algorithms. The first one will be the place algorithm. This is the algorithm place, although I have written a C function, okay, but you know it can be easily adapted as algorithm. And the place function is recursively, it's again and again called, repeatedly called by a function called nqueen. So this is the main function nqueen, and nqueen is a recursive function. You watch, nqueen will call itself, but within the nqueen function we are going to make use of the place function. Okay, before we read any algorithm, place or nqueen, it is important to find out a few notations that we are going to use, or some data structures that we are going to use. Now, the first and the foremost thought that comes to a beginner's mind is that while writing backtracking algorithm for n-queen problem, we have to declare a matrix. Come on, now this is a common sense because n-queen problem is surely a matrix problem. So anybody would feel that we will declare a two-dimensional array in our program. But that's not truth. One-dimensional array is enough to solve this matrix problem. What we will do in our algorithm is we will declare one-dimensional array called X. Let's name this array as X, which has n elements, where n are the number of queens. So if we are solving a four queen problem, then X array will have 4 elements, and the indexing will be done from 1 to 4. How is this X array going to help us? Because the foremost question comes to the beginner's mind is that if we don't declare a matrix, I'm saying that we will not declare any matrix in our program. If we don't declare a matrix, then how come my program or algorithm is going to know that whether the two queens placed somewhat in these positions which I am showing, first and fourth queen, how will my algorithm come to know that they are attacking diagonally? These two queens are surely attacking diagonally. And one might wonder that the matrix is needed to check these diagonal attacks, or how will my program come to know that whether two queens are attacking vertically? If this third queen is placed in the first column, then it is attacking the first queen vertically. One thing is sure, we are going to remove the row attack. Row attack will be avoided by not placing any queen in the same row. Two queens will not be placed in the same row. But how will you check vertical attack and diagonal attack? This is the big question if you don't declare a matrix. Well, really, you don't have to declare the matrix. It is so easy. Using one-dimensional array X, you can solve the entire problem. As an example, you see, I have shown some values in the X array 2, 4, 1, 3. Now, each of these values are the column numbers. For example, this 2 is actually the column in which first queen has been placed, or this 4 is the column in which second queen has been placed, and so on. But then, if these are 2, 4, 1, 3, these are only column numbers, then what about row numbers? Well, row number of the first queen is row 1, row number of the second queen is row 2, and so on. So we don't have to store row numbers at all. Now tell me, if 2413 is the solution given to you, this is the solution, then you can easily confirm it on paper by drawing a 4 by 4 matrix. Although our program is not using it, but we can draw a 4 by 4 matrix, and you know that the first queen is placed in the second column, just as shown by this solution, and the second queen in the first column. Third queen is placed in the first column, and fourth queen is placed in the third column, and all these four queens are in non-attacking positions. So X array is going to store the solution, and remember, the solution is going to be column numbers of all the queens. That's what I have described. What does this array X here storing these values really mean? So there is no need to declare a two-dimensional array to solve in queen problem. Single dimension array X is enough to solve the problem. Now come to this point. This is so interesting. You know how we are going to use this X array so intelligently is we will put some limitations or constraints on this X array. I mean, we will not just fill this X array with any values, isn't it? There are some limitations. The first limitation or the constraint here written is all the column numbers stored in array X must be distinct. Now, come on, that's understood. If each of these values are column numbers, then no two values, as you see here, no two values can be equal. Just observe, if I claim that this is the solution, 1413 is the solution, this is my claim, then my claim is wrong. This cannot be a solution, and our program will easily tell that this is not the solution because two values in this X array are equal. Now, you know that these two values, 1, 1, are the column numbers. What that means is first queen is placed in the first column and third queen is also placed in the first column. That means first and third queens are going to attack vertically. You can confirm it by drawing a 4 by 4 matrix, and you can easily see that the first queen is placed in the first column, second queen is fine placed in the fourth column, but the third queen is placed in the first column. So here itself you know that as two values in the X array are equal, this solution is not acceptable. So no wonder all the values that you will store in the X array, all the column numbers that you will store in the X array must be distinct, isn't it? Now, another constraint is, by the way, before reading the second constraint, just to see a very important point again, is that hence it is very easy to avoid vertical attack of the queen, isn't it? How do you ensure that the two queens will never attack vertically? By keeping their column numbers distinct, isn't it? Keep the column numbers distinct. So all the values in the X array must be distinct. Now the second constraint, just listen carefully, is about diagonal attack. The two queens cannot attack vertically and the two queens cannot attack diagonally. And anyway, we have removed the possibility of row attack because each queen is going to be placed in different row. So how do you check diagonal attack? This is for diagonal attack, isn't it? Now we say two queens are placed diagonally if some differences match. You see this as an example. If I again have a 4 by 4 chessboard, 4 by 4 chessboard, and imagine first queen is placed here in the first column and fourth queen is placed here in the fourth column. Now this is not possible, isn't it? Why? Because if you place first and the fourth queen as shown, then they will attack each other diagonally. But then how is our algorithm going to know that this is a wrong arrangement? Is that if you watch something interesting, if the difference between the rows in which these two queens have been placed, correct or not? We are talking about queen 1 and queen 4. We want to know, are they attacking? So how is our program going to know? Is that it will check difference between the rows of the queens. Let's call this first queen as kth queen. Okay, this is kth queen, and let's call this fourth queen as ith queen. Okay, as ith queen. Yes, just gave some labels to the queens. So the queen number 1 is k is 1, and queen number 4 is termed as I is 4. Okay, so what I am saying is that we will check difference between the rows of these two queens, and we will check difference between their columns in which they have been placed. Check this is the difference between their columns, and if difference between the rows is equal to difference between the columns, then surely kth queen and ith queen are diagonally apart. Just check the difference between the rows is going to be given by k minus I. Yes, that are the row numbers, isn't it? K minus I. This is difference between the rows. Is it equal to difference between the columns in which these two queens have been placed? And the column number of the kth queen is xk. You know x stores the column numbers. If this minus xi is nothing but column number of the ith queen. If these two quantities match, then k and I queens are going to attack diagonally. To elaborate, this left hand side over here is difference between the rows, difference between the rows. And the right hand side here is difference between the columns in which kth queen and ith queen have been placed. But the point is that these two quantities, might go negative. As you see here itself, the left hand side k minus I is 1 minus 4, isn't it? Which is minus 3. Whereas the right hand side xk minus xi is 1 minus 4 again, that is minus 3. Sometimes left hand side might come out to be negative and right hand side might come out to be positive. So we will take absolute value at both sides. Now this will be 1 minus 3 1 minus 4 left hand side. 1 minus 4 is minus 3, that will come out as 3. And right hand side is also 1 minus 4 because xk column number of the first queen is 1, xi column number of the fourth queen is 4. So this will also come out as minus 3, but we are taking absolute value which is 3. Hence, difference between the rows is matching difference between the columns. So if you call this as I, look where I am labeling, and k is 1, I is 4 and k is 1, then k minus I, difference between their rows, if it is equal to xk, that is value of xk, this is column number, minus xi, column number of the ith queen, then we say the two queens are diagonally attacking. Just as another example for diagonal attack is imagine again a four queen problem. So if we have a four queen problem, anyway, we are not going to use matrix, but I am just drawing it for representation sake. If we are having a matrix and we are placing four queens, and just imagine that we have placed second queen in the third column, and we have placed the fourth queen in the first column here. Then forget about the other arrangements, other queens arrangements. Imagine they are placed somewhere. But surely these two queens are going to attack diagonally. So if you call this second queen as queen K and fourth queen as queen I, then absolute value of K minus I is going to be 2. that is difference between their rows. Is it equal to difference between the columns? Now you just check absolute value of xk. Xk is the column of the kth queen and column of the second queen is 3, isn't it? Minus xi. Xi is the column number of the ith queen, that is 1. So this difference between their columns is 2 and difference between their rows is also 2. Hence the two queens are attacking diagonally. I hope you have understood vertical attack and diagonal attack. Tell me, isn't it sufficient for us to use X array and we really don't need a matrix in our program? So that's what has been written with an example over here. Look how the absolute values over here are matching for these two queens, and hence as the difference is equal, we say that these two queens are attacking each other. So it is so easy, to avoid diagonal attack, you see, of the queens, because you just have to take care that difference between the rows of the two queens should not be equal to difference between the columns of those queens, isn't it? It should not be equal. Observe, for any two queens K and I, if all queens obey these rules, if every pair of queen obey these rules, then queens are never placed diagonally. So, in summary, how will you check vertical attack? Simple. All the values stored in the X array must be distinct. So this is wrong because the two column numbers over here are same. So first queen and third queen are attacking because they are in the same column. And how do you check diagonal attack? If difference between the rows, that is 1 minus 4, is equal to difference between the columns, that is 1 minus 4, that is k minus I, if it is equal to xk minus xi. In that case, we know that these two queens are diagonally apart. These conditions are going to be used by our first algorithm named as place. So I was telling early in this video that this n queen algorithm is going to call the place algorithm. Now what the place algorithm is going to do, I'll just increase the font a bit now. I hope this is okay. What this place algorithm is going to do, it's going to check whether whether kth queen, let me change the indexes over here, whether queen k can be placed in column I. It's going to check that. So we are interested in placing queen number k in column number I. What about row number? Come on, row number of the kth queen is k. Like, just imagine that we have right now found partial solution and we have successfully placed first queen, second queen. Why I call it successful is because these two queens are not attacking each other. We have also placed third queen successfully, and you note that these three queens arrangement are okay, they are not attacking. And now we are ready to place the fourth queen, and we want to place that queen 4 in row 4. Obviously queen 4 will go in row 4, but we want to know whether this fourth queen can be placed in the first column. That's what our program will check, isn't it? I mean, my program will not directly know, come on, that it should be placed in the third column. Third column is obviously correct for this queen, because if fourth queen is placed in the third column, it's not going to attack diagonally, it's not going to attack vertically with any queen. But obviously my program is going to check from column 1. My program wants to know, can queen number 4 be placed in column 1, and obviously row 4 because it is queen 4. Can it be placed is the question, isn't it? So what place function will do, place function will tell whether it can be placed or not. How will it tell? It will check if fourth queen is placed in column 1, then will it attack any other previous queens which have been already placed? And it will very well tell that yes, it is wrong, because this fourth queen, if placed in the first column, is going to attack the third queen. That will be vertical attack, isn't it? So it's dangerous to keep the fourth queen in the first column. That's what place function is going to do. And place function will return 0, that is false, if the queen cannot be placed in the mentioned column, whereas it will return 1, that's true, if the queen can be placed. I hope you have understood the notation of the place function. So let's try to place. Let's try to ask the place function, can I place fourth queen? Look at the parameter k here is 4. Can I place kth queen, that is fourth queen, in the first column? I is the column number. So we can say that 1, the column number 1 is would be column number of the fourth queen. Isn't it so? By the time we have placed the 3 queens, you can see that the array X, anyway, we are never going to use the matrix, but the array X is going to be 2, 4, and 1 because that are the arrangements 2, 4, and 1. And we want to make this fourth element of the X array equal to 1. We want to make this one, isn't it? That's what we are asking. Can we place the fourth queen in the first column? Well, readily you understand it cannot be placed. Which queen will it attack? It will attack the third queen. So let's try to read out the place function. Place function over here, I have reproduced it here again. The place function will be called as place 4 comma 1. Can I place fourth queen in the first column? Now, to check whether fourth queen can be placed in the first column, we know that we have placed first 3 queens, isn't it? That's why we are placing fourth queen. So how many queens are we going to inquire? We are going to inquire first 3 queens. While placing the fourth queen here in the first column, we will ask all the 3 queens, do you have any problem if this fourth queen is going to be placed in the first column? So if I is equal to 4, this is column number, sorry, 1, I is 1, this is column number. And if k is equal to 4, this is queen number. Then obviously we will check 1 to k minus 1 queens. I hope you understand. When we are placing the kth queen, we have to ask k minus 1 queens because that many queens have been already placed. So you can see a for loop over here where j is going from 1 to k minus 1. Notice, what is this j? You would say j is 1 to k minus 1. Yes, I agree it is 1 to k minus 1. But j is the queen number. First we will make j as 1. And then we will ask, jth queen, do you have any trouble if kth queen is placed in the ith column? If not, then we will make j as 2. We will ask the second queen. Second queen, do you have any problem if the kth queen is placed in the ith column? And finally, we will make j as 3. If all the 3 queens for j is equal to 1 to k minus 1, that is 1 to 3, do not have any problem, that means they are not going to attack, then we will return 1. That is true. Otherwise, we will return false. So I have shown the working of all this. I have written it here. You can pause the video and you can check that with k equal to 4 and I equal to 1, we have the X array, the solution as 2, 4, 1 till now, isn't it? And k is 4. But I that we want to place here is 1. So if you make j as 1, now I am running the algorithm. If you start this j with 1, you just have to substitute the conditions here. Now this is for the first condition is for the column attack. And the second condition is for diagonal attack. Anyway, we are not checking the row attack. It's out of question. So you will see when j is 1, this condition is false. That means if you place this fourth queen in the first column, then first queen is not having any problem. So you will make j as 2 in the for loop. When you make j as 2, j is 2 now, we are asking second queen, hello second queen, you are placed in the fourth column. Will you have any trouble if this fourth queen is placed in the first column? And you will see that at that time also the condition is false. That means the second queen also doesn't have any trouble. Then we make j as 3. Remember, j is going from 1 to k minus 1. And third queen will immediately say, yes, I have problem, because if you store 1 in here, if you place this fourth queen in the first column, then my first condition is going to be true here, because we will be in the same columns. So as the condition in the if statement becomes true, they are attacking vertically. Which queens are attacking vertically? Third and fourth queen. The function will immediately return false. So place function is shouting that you cannot place fourth queen in column 1. That's how the place function is going to work. Now one more example I have given for the place function, how it works. Believe me, n queen problem, I forgot to tell you actually, n queen problem is all about the place function. I mean, you have one more function called n queen which is recursive. But it is so important to understand the place function, because place function is actually going to help us placing the queens. Now consider this arrangement. Imagine we have placed first queen, second queen, and third queen properly. And we now want to place the fourth queen in the third column. We have not placed it. We want to know, can we place it? So how can we know? Can we place this fourth queen in the third column? Is by asking all the previously placed queens, isn't it? That do you have any trouble if we place the fourth queen in the column 3? Now, you know that K is 4, fourth queen we are talking about, isn't it? We are placing the fourth queen. Then we have to ask previously placed queens. That is, we have to check 1 to K minus 1 queens. So hence, when we call the function with a equal to 4, fourth queen, and I equal to 3, third column, j goes from 1 to 3, 1 to k minus 1. Notice this is 3. So j here, is the queen number, isn't it so? And now I have shown, you can pause the video and you can read out this material. When j is 1, I have simply substituted the values with, the values over here for X array is first queen is already placed in the second column. Then we have 4 here. Then we have, I think, 1 here. And now we are trying to place the fourth queen at third column. I is 3. So you will see for I equal to 1, there is no trouble. When j is 1, this queen says that if you place the fourth queen in the third column, I don't have any trouble. And really so, you just check that if you place the fourth queen here where the pointer is shown, how is the first queen going to have any trouble? Because this is not going to attack diagonally, neither vertically. So there is no problem with the first queen. Hence, the for loop makes j as 2. And with j as 2, when you check both the conditions in the if, there is neither a vertical attack nor a horizontal attack. That means when the value of j is 2 here, second queen we are checking, second queen also says even I don't have any problem if you place the kth queen, that is fourth queen, in the third column. And the same thing happens when j is 3. Even third queen says I don't have any problem. You can place the fourth queen in the third column because there is neither a vertical attack nor a diagonal attack. So what you will find out that the for loop over here for all these queens, will end. And when the for loop ends, we have successfully asked all the queens from 1 to k minus 1, and everybody said that they don't have any trouble if you place the fourth queen in the third column. Hence, when the for loop will end, the function successfully returns true, isn't it? That's how the place function works. From now onwards, when we go to our next algorithm, which is basically n queen, it is recursive function. This recursive function is going to call the place function repeatedly. And we will not read the place function going back. It is so irritating, isn't it? Anyway, I have explained you this place function for a really very long time. But we will assume how it works and we will just orally find out whether this will return true or will return false. Depending on that, n queen will work. So this n queen function we will see in the next video. Thank you very much.